Hi lovely people, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about my experience on the keto diet, so stay tuned to find out more. So for today's video I'm going to be talking about what I ate on the keto diet, if I did any fasting, how much exercise I did, obviously how much weight I lost, what else, and how I felt like throughout the whole diet basically. So just basically the good, the bad, and the ugly about the keto diet. So if you are thinking about doing it, then at least you know that I've done it and you can have a better idea of what it's really like. Obviously we all know that everybody does this diet and they're like, it's so good, but is it as good as they say it is? I'm gonna find out today. So first things first, if you don't know what the keto diet is, the keto diet is basically a high fat, low protein and basically zero carb diet. So just did a quick Google search for you guys, and just to tell you, the keto diet is basically a high fat, adequate protein, low carb diet, and it's popular because you drop weight like that, guys. Like you can drop like an insane amount of weight in a week, and that's why people love it so much. But I will be honest, the keto diet is good, however I personally don't think it's something you can sustain for the rest of your life. Like eventually I feel like you will get tired of eating these high fat, low carb foods, and eventually you want to eat some ice cream or a cookie or bread. You want to eat those things, and we need that once in a while, like in moderation. So yeah, so first things first, I started the keto diet on I think it was like the 4th of January. I'm sure it was the first Monday of 2021, because new year, new me, you know, healthy body. This year I'm determined. I'm like, I'm gonna be healthy, gonna exercise, eat right, all that good stuff. So the keto diet was perfect because it kick-started the weight loss for me, and then hopefully I can just continue to be healthy throughout the year. It's also been a lot easier since I've been working from home, so you know I can cook stuff at lunchtime, and so basically the diet is that you should eat things like cheeses, meats with a lot of fat in them, things like butter, things like, what else, you can eat some like vegetables and stuff like spinach, things that are really low in carbs, but you need to cut out all the breads, the cookies, the crisps, the rice, the pasta, all those carb heavy things. And then you can also eat like lots of eggs, lots of other different things. I will put in clips of like the food shop that I did and show you guys what I eat in a day when I'm doing the keto diet, and snacks, that kind of thing. So firstly, for the keto diet, I obviously had to do a big food shop to buy all the high fat, low carb food. So I'll put in clips of what I bought, but I bought things like, I bought a lot of salami, pepperoni, hams, I bought chicken, beef, pork, I bought things like spinach, I bought cream, lots of eggs, cheese as well, vegetables, again, things like green beans and broccoli, cauliflower. I didn't really buy any fruit, but that's the good thing about this diet though. Your palate, your food intake is not really limited. You do have a lot of choices, and that's one reason why I really liked it, because you know I don't really find it that easy to say no to good food. So when I can still have my eggs and bacon and that kind of thing, that sounds like a good diet to me. P.S. Don't mind this one nail. Wait, is this my left hand? This shouldn't be on there. Don't mind this one nail. All the other nails fell off and this one is staying strong, but it looks good if all the other ones are still on. But yeah, they lasted about 4 weeks. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to the video. So while I was doing the keto diet, I did do a bit of research, and a lot of people say that to get the best benefits for keto, you should do intermittent fasting. So what I did was the first week I did start eating at like, I would eat from 1 p.m. and then stop eating at 9 p.m. So I would eat I was doing the 16-8. So if you're into healthy eating and fasting and all that, you'll know that 16-8 is basically, you don't eat for 16 hours. So your body goes into starvation mode, and then you can eat within an 8-hour window. So it's basically For me, it was 1 p.m. till 9 p.m. and that works because 1 p.m. is like lunchtime, it's later in the day. Then I'd have dinner around like 7 p.m. and then that means by the time I can't eat at like 8 or 9, I'm not starving, I'm not hungry, anything like that, and that would keep me filled up until the next day. First few days, I'll admit, it's hard and it's tempting and you're thinking, I just want to grab like a sweet or a biscuit or a piece of fruit or whatever it is you want to go to, but you just have to tell yourself no, and eventually your body does start getting used to it. Like after the first few days, I would start getting hungry, you know, around 1 because my body was getting used to it, whereas before that I would be getting hungry maybe around like 11 a.m, that kind of thing. So you just have to push through and do the fasting. When you are doing the keto diet, obviously it's really important as well to make sure your calories are within like the healthy range. So I think sometimes maybe people think, oh, because I'm doing a diet, because I'm doing keto, I don't really need to count calories, but I think you still do need to monitor that just to be on the safe side. So I try to reduce my calorie intake to about, I think, 1,500, 1,600. And I use this app called MyFitnessPal. Now this app is so good. I've used this for years. I used it back in the day. I'm using it now. I think I've had it for about 7 years at least. It's such a good app. You can track all your calories, you can add in exercise, you can add in how much water you're drinking, and you can also, I think, yeah, you put in your weight and all those things. So it gives you a lot of insight into the food you're eating. It tells you how much fat is in the food, how many calories are in the food obviously, and what percentage of those calories is used up for your day's calories. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but let's say like you have a slice of bread that might be 100 calories. So that will tell you those 100 calories are 10% of your daily intake or whatever. So it just gives you more insight. And one thing I really like about MyFitnessPal is when you've done your food diary for the day and you then close it, you just click, you know, complete diary for today, and then it gives you an estimation of how much weight you might lose if you were to eat those same amount of calories every day for like the next 5 weeks. So I quite like that because, you know, when I've had a good day, it'll tell me you might be this weight in 5 weeks, which kind of keeps me going because it's just motivating to see that. Whereas, you know, sometimes when you're doing diets and then you step on the scale and you're thinking, I've only lost 1 pound or I'm not losing any weight, and it sounds small, but after 5 weeks you're thinking, okay, if I'm losing 1 or 2 pounds a week, you know, it adds up. So that app is so good. Someone else also told me about Carb Manager, which was good as well, but it's good for keto, but I think I'm dedicated to MyFitnessPal, so I mostly stuck with that. But I did use Carb Manager a little bit, but I preferred MyFitnessPal. And the other reason why I preferred it is because on MyFitnessPal, when you're adding in your food, you don't necessarily need to type in, okay, I've had Walker's crisps and find the flavor. You can literally take your phone, scan the barcode on the product, and it'll tell you what the item is. It'll tell you the calories and all that, and you just click add to your food log. So it's so easy, guys. If you don't have that app, then you are missing out. Get the app. It's a game changer. I can't remember if I already said this, but anyway, on a typical keto day, my food would consist of 1 or 2 meals. So usually for lunch, I would make something like eggs and bacon, or eggs and spinach with bacon, or eggs, tomato, some kind of meat, that kind of thing. So I did eat a lot of eggs, but I like eggs anyway. I probably eat them on most days, so that was just typical. And then when it came to dinner time, I would normally have whatever like meat the family was making, so whether that be chicken, beef, pork, whatever it is. And then I wouldn't have like the rice or the pasta or the whatever potatoes. I would then make like vegetables, but I'd cook the vegetables in butter. It doesn't sound healthy at all, but it tastes good. It tastes so good. Like if you're cooking green beans in butter with some salt, pepper and garlic, that tastes so good. That was definitely one of my favorites, so I made that quite a lot. What else would I have? I'd have things like fish, and again it would just be, you know, broccoli and cauliflower cooked in butter. I would have sausages, again sausages with like maybe even eggs on the side. Sometimes I would make breakfast for dinner, like as in that kind of meal. So yeah, my choices were like, I wasn't really limited on what to eat. I did have a few options, but eventually after a few days, you have tried everything, you have cooked everything, you've eaten as many eggs as your heart can take, you've eaten as much bacon as your heart can take, and it's not fun anymore. So you just need to find ways of switching it up. But then in terms of snacks, I would have things like walnuts or pecan nuts. I would have cheese. I would have salami slices. What else did I have? Yeah, those kinds of things. And to make sure that I was eating them within reason, I would just simply weigh them. That's like a really, really important thing. Just weigh your food, because then that gives you a much closer estimate of how many calories and how much fat you're actually having. So yeah, that's definitely important. I did obviously have to cut out a lot of things that I like coffee. I like milk and creamer in my coffee, so I had to cut that out. I like cookies. I had to cut that out. I like, what else? Things like crisps, all of that, yogurt. It all had to go. But I kept telling myself, this is temporary. This is temporary, girl. Just say no for now, and then it'll be good in a few weeks' time. Now let's get to the juicy part. Y'all want to know, did I lose weight and how much weight did I lose? So let me tell y'all. So guys, the keto diet, it works. Like, it works. I don't know what kind of magic, what kind of juju, what kind of whatever that they do, but it works. I'll admit, this is the second time I've actually done the keto diet. The first time I did it was back in October, November time. Guys, the first time I did that keto diet, I think I did it for 2 or 3 weeks. In the first 7 days, I lost 7 pounds. 7 pounds in 7 days. That's the most amount of weight I've ever lost in 1 week. That's half a stone. Like, that is a lot. That is a lot of weight. This time around, I did lose 4 pounds. I'm gonna be honest, I was not as strict this time around. I had one too many cheat meals. I had some Cheetos here and there. We're not gonna get into that, but it's real life, guys. You're not always gonna lose all the weight like that. So yeah, but what I'm saying is the keto diet works. If you are strict and you follow it, actually, you don't even have to be super strict, because when I did it back in October, I think in those first 7 days, I had one cheat meal. So, and when I say one cheat meal, it wasn't a cheat day. It wasn't, you know, on the Saturday, I had a cheat breakfast and a cheat lunch and a cheat dinner. It was literally one cheat meal. And I think what it was actually is it was KFC, of course, but it was only the chicken. I didn't have chips. So it was like a healthy cheat meal, because the KFC had lots of fat anyway. But apart from that, I don't think I slipped up an awful lot. So if you are pretty good and you literally say slip up for 5% of the diet, it does work. It really works, and it's good. Before I did the keto diet, people were saying things like their mood is lifted and they're so positive and they have so much energy and all these things. And I didn't experience that personally. Maybe I did, but I don't recall. Like, in terms of how I felt, I just felt fine. Like, people sometimes say you'll get the keto flu, which is like headaches and feeling super tired, that kind of thing, just because you've restricted your carbs. Personally, I didn't get too much of that. I don't know if that's maybe because I made sure I drank lots of water, lots of green tea with lemon, because I was trying to stay full up so that I wasn't eating as much. I also did take a lot of vitamins during the diet, because I think that's just so important, because obviously now you've cut out fruit, you've cut out milk, you've cut out a lot of vegetables, you've cut out carbs, so you're not getting as many nutrients or energy as you would normally do. So it's so important that you do take your vitamins, multivitamins, iron, all that stuff, and that will probably help you avoid the keto flu, because both times that I've done the keto diet, I've not had the keto flu, which has been so good. This time, while I was doing the keto diet, I just did continue to exercise. I didn't exercise like an exceptional amount. I'm just saying it's in maybe one walk every other day, or maybe like a little YouTube 10-minute workout, that kind of thing. So I just kind of maintained that just to keep the weight loss going, that kind of thing. So if you have the energy while doing keto, then do it. But if you're getting headaches and you're feeling tired, don't push yourself too much, because you will still see the results as long as you are sticking to the diet. What else would I say about the keto diet? It's good, but eventually you obviously do start to miss the sweet things. Like I was saying, you miss, you know, chocolate, or like a drink, a sugary drink, or, you know, just those kinds of things. So that part can be hard, and especially when you're living with people who are eating Oreos and Buenos and drinking sweet coffee and yogurts and all that stuff. So it is hard, but just push through and you can do it. I was gonna say something else and now I forgot. Oh yeah, I remembered. So again, in terms of food, you definitely have to watch your salt intake, because obviously things like ham, salami, cheese, all these things have a lot of salt in them. So I noticed that I did get thirsty a lot more. Like I think I was definitely drinking at least 2 liters a day, probably even more sometimes. Yeah, so just probably because of the increased salt intake. So I guess that's also something to watch. But if you're Zim, then you know, we love our salt. So overall, the keto diet is good. Like, it works. If you're strict, it works. If you're not so strict, then you'll lose 4 pounds in a week. To be honest, 4 pounds in a week is actually still really good, because if you lose 4 pounds a week for a month, that's what, 12 pounds? No, 16. That's 16 pounds, which is a stone. So that is actually a lot. I think this time I'm just being hard on myself, because the first time I did it, I lost 7 pounds in 1 week. So now I'm like, I need to get these results. But no, actually 4 pounds a week is really, really good. And to be honest, that's probably more sustainable than losing 7 pounds in 1 week. So I'm gonna try and keep doing this diet for a little bit longer and see how it goes. I'm gonna do a separate video just showing you guys exactly what I bought and what I eat in a day, what that consisted of. I would have done it in this video, but it would have been extremely long, so I'll put it in a separate video, and then I'll do an update after a few months, after a few weeks, because like I said, this diet is not sustainable for me. It might be sustainable for you, but it's not sustainable for me. I couldn't do this for the rest of my life. So this is more like a quick fix kind of thing, just to get things kick-started, and then once you've started losing the weight, then hopefully you can then maybe bring in carbs slowly, but then up your exercise or reduce your calorie intake or do whatever you do to lose weight. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions about the keto diet, leave them down below, because I'm sure someone else will be thinking the same thing, and I'll get back to you ASAP. Anyways, guys, let me know how you get on with the keto diet, and if you have any other tips how to stay consistent and motivated, because 2021 we are getting our bodies right and tight, because health is wealth.